Very good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 3 class of the unit called Fiber to Fabric. In today's class, we are going to discuss these things. I going to give some recap session what we discussed in early classes, and today we are going to discuss about the plant called jute and its process of making fiber. And finally, one more topic is history of clothing material that we are going to discuss on today's class. Okay, so before moving to before moving to explanation about jute, I like to give some recap session what we discussed in early class. In early class, we discussed about the fiber. I mean, we discussed about the plant called jute, sorry, cotton. This is also called silver fiber. Okay, silver fiber and silver fiber material. Okay, and cotton is well grown in South India because the cotton plant is well suitable for the soil called black and alluvial soil, right? And this plant can grow up to 5 to 6 feet, and it have 3 lobe leaves, right? And the cotton plants bears a large number of small green pods, that is nothing but a unripe food, right? After it ripe, they called as cotton balls, right? After it ripe, after it matured, it will burst out automatically, and it shows a fluffy, soft, spongy cotton material which contains seeds also, right? This is the thing, this is the presence, this is the happening, right? Cotton is generally hand picked material. This is not a machine picked material, it's purely hand picked material, hand picked plant, because if we use machine, we may lose uh, so we may lose our production. Okay, so it's a hand picked material, and you want to know one more thing, though these plants are not matured at the same time, so you want to do this process at least for 1 month, right? Then what are the conditions necessary for cotton cultivation? Since I already told you, cotton is grow well in black and alluvial soil. It needs plenty of sunshine and preferably mild climate. Dry climate is needed, mild cold and dry climate. So you should not need any moisture condition, right? Low humidity is needed. It should not contain any moisture content. Okay, and in which time it's very good for irrigation, and it is grown. I mean, it will irrigated during various stages of growth, and is grown in India between May and September, and the harvesting period is begins from October. Okay, then these are things about cultivation of cotton and the process of making cotton. There are 3 steps involved in the process of making cotton. The first one is ginning. Ginning is the process of removing cotton seed from cotton fiber, because we don't need the cotton seeds, we need the fluffy, softy nature of cotton only, right? It is done by pausing harvesting cotton through lower roller gins. Normally, in the roller gins, nothing but a combing. It's nothing but a comb. It's a big comb. Okay, it's comb, right? What we use to um, design our ads, right? That is that the same time the same things used to remove the cotton seeds from cotton plant. Sorry, fluffy cotton, cotton seeds from cotton, right? Ginning was traditionally done by combing, that I am told you. Right now we are using machines. The fibrous material left. So after ginning process, after we removing the seeds, the left material, that is soft nature of material, is called lint, right? The lint is then tied and pressed into bales. So big, what do you call it, a big roller. So once they remove the lint, they dump in, and they make a big roller type material, that is called bales. Each bales contain 200 kilogram of weight. Okay, the next process called spinning is most important step. The process of making yarn, because we need yarn. What is yarn? It's nothing but a rolled fiber, a spun fiber, a spun thread, right? We need that. So then we can able to make a fabric, right? That's the thing, is the process of making yarn from fiber is called spinning, right? It was done by 2 types. One is takli and one is chakra. Okay, what's mean takli? Takli is generally did by using a spindle, then chakra is did by using spinning wheels, right? These are 2 types of spinning process in cotton. right? And nowadays we are using large scale printing process. Now we are using looms to make this process. Okay, then fine. The next, sorry, we are used machines to make this process. The next third process is fabrics. That is the ultimate goal, right? So we want to make a fabrics, right? In fabric there are two types. There are two processing. There are two types of processing. They are called as weaving and knitting. These two is most important. 2 mark, possibly they may ask in 4 mark. Okay, and you want to keep in mind there are two types of process which involved to making fabrics. They are called as weaving and knitting. What is the weaving? The weaving is the process of making a fabric by using two or more distinct yarn. Making a fabrics by using two or more distinct yarn, that is called weaving. What's my knitting? Knitting is the process of making fabric by using a single type of yarn. Okay, just keep in mind, single type of yarn, that is called knitting. So that's the thing. Then how we can able to do this process? They done this process by using a machine called loom. Okay, there are two types of loom. One is hand loom and another one is power loom. Hand loom, they need a human intervention, whereas machines will do by automatically by using computer analysis, artificial intelligence technologies. Okay, so these are the types, and these are the types of looming. Okay, and what are the uses of cotton that we know? And we may able to make fabrics, cloths, then surgical bandages, dhotis, saris, bedsheets, cloths, and manufacturing paper. And we want to keep in mind one of the important GK question: our Indian rupees manufactured by cotton fabric, sir, cotton fiber. It's not a paper, it's a cotton fiber. Just check internet. It's most important use of cotton, right? No, and yesterday I gave one homework. I just give an answer for you. Cotton plant is a bushy plant which grows well in black and alluvial soil. Right. The cotton plants bears a large number of small green pods called cotton balls. When these pods mature, they burst open, exposing the white fibers of cotton. That only they called as silver fiber. Cotton is called silver fiber. Now we are going to say the golden fiber. Jute is called golden fiber. Cotton is called silver fiber. This is the economic term. Just keep it in mind. Which one is called silver fiber? Cotton is called silver fiber. Which one is called golden fiber? Jute is called golden fiber. Keep it in mind, right? The cotton fiber is sent to, here you people are make a mistake. Cotton fibers are sent to factories where machines are used to clean them. Okay, cotton fibers are not sent to machines where factories are not used to clean them. Machines only able to clean the seeds. I mean, clean the unwanted dirts, right? So you did the mistakes. So many people did this mistake. These cotton fibers sent to factory where machines are used to clean them. The clean cotton is combed and twisted into nothing but it's nothing. Once it's combed and it twisted into yarn. Yeah, a loom weaves the two sets of yarn together and makes fabrics. A loom, right? I already told you loom. What's my loom? It is done by weavers on a machine, right? That is called loom, right? In early days, we people are, I mean, our ancestors do by using hands, right? Nowadays we are used by machines. They are called as looms. There are two types. One is hand operated machine, and another is machine operated. So power, one is hand loom, and another is power loom, right? These are things we discussed in early class. In today's class, we are going to discuss jute. This is jute. Okay, for your identification, I just put this image. This is jute. Now you can know about the uses, right? So many uses are there. Now later I'll explain. Right? Introduction about jute. Jute is a natural fiber, popularly known as golden fiber. I repeat you, this is an economical term used in economics. This is called golden fiber. Jute is called golden fiber. Cotton is called silver fiber. Right? Keep in mind. Jute fiber comes from the stem of herbaceous annual plant called Carcorus. So this is not important for you, but you just keep in mind one of the important. I mean, you want to know the generic name, you want to know the species name, right? This is Carcorus, right? From the family of Carcorus, right? before moving to the stage of production, I like to explain where we able to get the jute fiber. Jute is obtained from the stem of jute, right? Cotton, we get cotton from cotton fruit. Here jute is get from jute fibers get from stem of the jute. Keep in mind one of the important one mark question. Right. In India, mainly it's grown in the place of West Bengal, Assam, Bihar, right? And but Bangladesh is the world largest producer of the fiber called jute. Okay, Bangladesh. Keep in mind one of the important JK question: which country can able to produce most? I mean, which country is the largest producer of jute? Bangladesh, not India. Bangladesh. Keep in mind. And these plants can able to grow up to 8 to 10 feet. In later, I will show you in meter. Okay. Whereas cotton can able to grow up to 5 to 6 feet. Jute can able to grow up to 8 to 10 feet. Each plant bears a yellow color flower, but we don't need that flowers. Right now, I am going to show these stages. Right, stages of producing and processing. Initially, we want to cultivate. We want to sowing. That's called cultivation. Then harvesting. Right. And then after it matured, we are going to harvest. Then retting process that I explain you later in the later slides. Striping, washing, dyeing, baling and packing, storage. This is the stages of production and processing, and this is the flow chart. Okay, so just keep in mind flow chart is most important for both the process of making both the process, both the type of fibers. Okay, just keep in mind. And this is the stages. First stage is cultivation. The stem of jute plant contains jute fibers. It is cultivated in the rainy season and is normally harvested when it is at the flowering stage. Right, when we are going to harvest, that we want to know. We know when we are going to harvest the cotton plant. Right, once the envelope is burst out, we will the cotton ball is mature and that unripe fruit become ripe fruit. Later it will mature. Then it exploded from the cotton ball. That is an indication for us to harvest. Like here, if the jute plant is grown, if the jute plant will flowering in this, if the jute plant show, in the stage of flowering, that is the stage we want to do the harvesting process. Right, it requires alluvial soil, whereas jute cotton plants is well grown in both the soil called black and alluvial soil, but this plant is requires alluvial soil. Generally, alluvial soil is present near the coastal area of river. Okay, because the soil has a capacity to store a large quantity of water. So only I told you very clearly, it's a coastal area of river or seas. Right, that is well suitable place for this type of plant, because it needs much amount of water. Cotton doesn't require much amount of water. This plant is well grown during rainy season. You want to know which season is rainy season, that I explain you later which period it will grow. Okay, because annually it needs 150 centimeter of rain. Okay, and the harvesting period is 3 to 4 months. It takes 3 to 4 months. Okay, it generally grows about 3 to 4 meters. In early slides I explained you what in feet, 8 to 10 feet or 3 to 4 meters in height. Okay, a good quality fiber is obtained from plants cut at the flowering stage. So I'll very clearly tell you, right, in which time you want to do the harvesting process. At the time of flowering stage. Cotton at the time of after it exploded from the cotton ball, that is harvesting stage. It is because good quality jute is obtained from its stem only at the stage, right? Because jute want to be, the strength of the stem decides the quality of the jute. That is they explain you. That the thing is explained here. Okay. Otherwise, the stem is very hard and it's difficult to remove fibers from it. So we want to know which time is good for harvesting, that is flowering stage, because at the time the stem may have some flexibility. If we leave that, if we forget to do the harvesting at the time, the stem of the plant become very hard and it's very difficult to remove the fiber. And the next I show you, this is a jute plant. See how it is, and this is not a 3-lobe leaf. It is a single lobe leaf plant, and this stem is used to. It's not a used to make a fibers, and this is a plant. Okay, single lobed plant, and this is the stem they may use. We are going to use to produce fiber. And jute is harvested at any time between 120 days to 150 days after cultivation. It is 3 to 4 months. Okay, when the flowers have been shed, early harvesting gives good healthy fibers. Okay, the harvested plants are left in the field for 3 days for the leaves to shed, means leaves got dry up. So once you harvest, you can't do the process like, uh, suddenly. Okay, you want to leave the plant there itself up to the leaves got dried up. So 3 to 4 days you want to leave the plant in the field itself, so to make the leaves to dry up. That is a condition to, that is an indication to do the next process called retting. Then only you will able to get good fibers. Retting is a process. So before going to first passage, I like to explain the process of retting. Sorry, I did a mistake. Retting the stems of the plant in water to remove the sticky substance and separate fibers is called retting. Okay, the process of retting the stems of the plant in water to remove the sticky substance. Right, sticky means, what do you call, what do you call it? It's like gum. Okay, so we want to remove the sticky substance and separate fibers. That is called retting. Okay, so this is the third process. We are going to remove the sticky substance in the fiber, and we left we just remove the fiber from the sticky substance. That process called retting. Retting is a process in which tied bundles of, then later what they do, after removing the sticky made substance, they tie the bundles of juice stalks are taken to the tank, by which fibers get loosened and separate from the woody stalk. Right, then after it we removed the tie we removed, we just bundle the jute stalks, and then we left there, we are taken to the tanks, which makes them to loosen the woody stalk. Right, which helps to, even though we remove the sticky nature in the fiber, it has some more arrangement, so it has some more sticky possibility, so we want to leave there to dry it up. Okay, then we'll be able to get some woody stalks. Then the bundles are stepped into water at least 600 centimeter to 100 centimeter depth. So it will step right. We After removing it, we just step it. What do you call it? We just once again we will make like what we do in a planting, right? Just like a planting, we just kept in water for 60 to water for 3 to 4 days, and up to how much centimeter we want to keep in, what is the depth of the water, what is the depth of the how much depth of water is needed. 60 to 100 centimeter depth of water is needed. All the bundles are stepped, all the bundles are kept in a water up to 60 to centimeter depth. Okay, because even though we remove the sticky nature in the stalks, it has some more. So for that, we want to make it dry up, and we want to remove the sticky nature once we kept in the water up to 60 to centimeter of water tank. Okay, the next process is called stripping. Retting. I just give one more explanation for retting. Removing the fibers from the sticky nature, that's the thing. And for that, we need to keep the stalks in the pond for 20 days, and that pond which contains 60 to 100 centimeter of water. Right, the next stripping process is nothing but fiber extraction. They are see here very clearly mentioned, very clearly the picture shows you where they kept that fiber after removing from the stem. Right, they kept in the water which contains 60 to 100 centimeter of water is present there, and they put in the field which contains the water. Then they're removing sticky nature, then they keep the, right. Stripping is a process of removing the fiber from the stalk. So and then after we kept in the water may able to remove the sticky nature, right. Then it's good to it's easy to remove the fiber from the stalks. Right, after completion of retting, fibers are removed from the stalk by one of the following method. What other methods? Single plants are taken and the fibers are taken off. So single plant will be taken and fibers will be taken off. taken off a handful of stalks, breaking it to and fro motion in water. So they may do by two process. One is they may able to do the process by using by taking one single plant, or else they take a handful of stalks and they may do to and fro motion in water. That means they may shake in the 60 to 70 meter water. I already told you, they may kept in the tank or they may kept in the field which can 60 to 80 centimeter of water. Then they shake like this to and fro motion. It will help to remove the fiber very easily. That is process called stripping. Stripping is the process of removing fiber. Retting is the process of removing sticky nature in the fiber. Okay, and this is the thing. See, the lady will do the process. Then how they kept in in the field, in the upper end of the field you see so many stalks are present. Then later she doing handful of second method. She doing handful of she taking a bundle of stalks and she doing the shaking process and they remove the sticky nation. Then um, after removing we get a fiber. It's present in the lower end of the picture. This is a fiber we'll get after doing the process called stripping. And this is the thing, finally they make a bundle like this after completing the process called stripping. Then the drying process. This is the fifth process, I think. The fibers are hang on a bamboo railing for sun drying for 2 to 3 days. After drying, the fibers are ready to be sold in the market. So even though we are doing the stripping process, even though we are removing the uh, fibers completely from the jute plant, we need it have some moisture content. So for that we want to keep in a we want to make a drying process. So at least 2 to 3 days we want to keep in the sun to remove the moisture content present in the jute fiber. After drying, the fibers are ready to be sold in the market. And baling and packing process, there we are doing the packing process. That process called bales, right? Cotton balls, the big cotton balls, they call as bales. Each bales contain 200 kilogram. There here also we are doing the process. The baling of jute fibers done according to grading system. So we are doing the process by means of grading system. It means that ranking system. Okay, the good fibers are bundled in one place and somewhat good in sense costly, I mean, or else a pure maybe high class, like that the grading will process. The fibers grade up to top, middle and bottom, B, C, X, like that. Packing into kucha, they call as kucha bales, right? They in cotton they didn't mention any name. Here they call as kucha bales, about 250 pounds for use in mills or jute market. So each bales contain 250 pounds. Okay, and production and processing of fiber. Jute is a rainy season crop. So here that period is very clearly mentioned, March through May. Whereas cotton is very suitable during May to September. Here March to May. Okay, according to rainfall type of land, jute requires warm and humid climate with temperature between 24 to 37 degrees Celsius. So temperature is we need a very humid temperature, whereas cotton doesn't need humid temperature; it need dry temperature. Like the soil of good depth containing salts from annual floods is best for jute. So the soil is, we need a soil of good depth and should contain some salts also. The stalk diameter of plant is 3 by 4 inch. So almost one inches. That if the stalk should contain one, I mean thickness. They measure the thickness of the stalks. Okay, so thing is present, and this is the jute. After removing from chalk, they may bundle like this. They call it kucha. Then finally they make yarn. This is the process of making yarn by using machines. See, bundle kucha bales. Yeah, kucha bales. Then use of fiber, that is jute fiber. Gunny bags we can able to bake. Means gunny bag in sense. I mean, in our wholesale, government wholesale shop, right? They used gunny bags to handle rice or sugars, right? That's called gunny bags. Potato sacks, carpets, curtains, and some cloths and ropes are used to are some of the use of jute fiber, and these are the some combined uses present there. I hope you may get some idea. And advantage of jute fiber, jute fibers are very strong, yeah, compared to cotton fiber is very strong. The fibers are very breathable to allow some circulation of air. So it has some pores, whereas cotton blend doesn't have some much pores compared to jute. It has some pores, so it will allow circulation of air. So it if it allows circulation of air, so the material which doesn't what do you call it, wasted. Okay, so some materials have some air circulation. So for if the food materials needs air circulation, we want to keep in jute bags, right? And jute fibers are very versatile. Like jute fibers are quite cheap and cost effective. Yes, it's quite cheap and cost effective compared to cotton. Jute fibers are environmental friendly and biodegradable. It's nothing but the plant. I mean, the particular material can able to compost in will able to compost in naturally. That is called biodegradable and environmental friendly. These type of fibers are environmental friendly. And disadvantage of jute fibers are known to be prone to creasing, and when exposed to water, it is not uncommon for jute fiber to lose some of the tensile strength. So when it is exposed to water, it may lose its tensile, that is strongness, right? If you expose much water, I mean, they mention very clearly 60 to 100 centimeter of water and 3 days. If you expose more days, it may lose its tensile strength. It may lose its tensile strength if you expose for long period, right? If you kept the jute fiber for long period, it will lose its tensile strength, right? When exposed to sunlight, jute fibers may undergo decoloration. So sometimes if you expose it in sunlight, I mean, for long period, the same thing, if you expose if you kept the jute fiber for long period in water, it may lose its tensile strength. If you expose in sunlight for long period, it will lose, I mean, it may decolorize, so it may lose its color, natural color. Now the last part of the unit called is stuff clothing material. In ancient times, people used big leaves of trees, bark of trees, animal skin, etc. to cover their body. Yeah, I mean, what called cavemen? They called us cavemen, right? Nomads. They called us nomads also, right? And they may use leaves of trees, bark of trees, animal skins to cover their body. Right. When man began to settle down in communities, he began to tie together twigs, grass leaves, and animal skin fur into mats and cloths. So when our community is matured, or they may get some knowledge, then they know to use how to make a cloth by using by getting the fiber from the cloth, how to wear for a particular condition, atmosphere. They get the knowledge, right? They simply wrap these fabric around the body because they don't know how to stitch. In early times, they don't know how to stitch. So nowadays we have such a knowledge to make how to know the how to make a fabric, right? Later, when needle was invented, how this process possible? In early days, we are using needle, that is called spindle, right? Needle inventor, the people start stretching these fibers into different shapes to suit their body, and thus clothes evolved, right? Then later, our after introduction of needle, we people may stretching fabric for ourselves, and we making different types of cloths. And the generation, what do you call it? Revolution will happen after the needle was introduced. The new revolution will happen because we know the knowledge to make fabric by using these fibers. Now we have variety of clothing choices for both men and women. Yes, we have variety of clothing choices. They are varied in choices, colors, design, etc. In fact, we have moved from simple clothing to fashionable clothing, right? So many fashionable things are arrived right now. We are not wearing the same type of material, same type of clothing style. I mean, in my period, when I was studying 6th to 7th standard. Jeans is a we I mean buying a jeans is like buying a gold for us, right? Nowadays it's very easier, and we get so many different type of styles available in jeans material itself, right? So evolution, new evolution has happened because we get so much of knowledge, and different types of machines are available to make different types of materials. Okay, that is the evolution of clothing materials, history of clothing materials. Okay, that's all the end of the unit. And next class I like to give the recap, complete recap session of the unit. Okay, then I just explain you what the things present in your book. Afterwards we are going to see the book back contents. Okay, if time permits I will add the book back content with that video itself. Okay, and try to send your homework to Teachment Live app. Don't be lazy, because we don't know when this pandemic situation going to end. In future we will able to conduct your internal test through Teachment Live app, so try to learn the things very quickly. I send you the video how to do the how to upload it your homework to Teachment Live app. Please do it. Use the application, use the platform properly. If you have any doubt, may ask me, I'll explain you. Okay, bye.